Hello and welcome to community training. Today's topic in the Thriving Practitioner community is going to be how to devise a marketing strategy that aligns with you, because we all know that oftentimes we can feel the pressure to be marketing in all avenues or sometimes we see something working really well for somebody else and we think, okay, I need to be doing that. And so we want to jump ship or get into that particular modality of marketing. And then it's really not meant for us. Maybe we just don't feel aligned with it. Maybe it feels like a pressure that we just don't love. And let's be honest, we all want to be doing something in our business that we love. And so sometimes we'll tell ourselves, well, I just need to outsource it. Not to say that that isn't the right move, because it can be, but I really want to help you get into a groove, because it's really not as complicated as it might be. So, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm going to be sharing just a snippet of the full training with you here on the podcast. I'd love for you to join the free community by texting holistic to 55444, and you'll get immediate access. You'll be able to preview all the trainings we've done in the past. You'll get notifications of upcoming trainings, and we'd love to see you there. Plus, you'll be connecting with other like-minded practitioners. So it's exciting. We have a lot of cool things going on. For the first 25 members who join, because we're just launching this community, I'm offering you a $500 complimentary profit analysis. So it's basically called a profit acceleration analysis of your business, where I can show you how you can improve your profitability by double your profits in, okay, we'll just edit that part out, but where I can show you in 40 minutes, where I could show you in an hour how to increase your profits by $40,000 a year or more in your business, just by running you through this software. So that's a service that I usually sell for $500. But if you join the community and you're one of the first 25 members, you will get that for free. So I'd love to see you there. Once again, just text the word holistic to 55444. Okay, so for the rest of you joining, we're going to dive into today's training, and I want to teach you basically how to build a marketing strategy that aligns with you. Recently, I did a reel where I said, could you imagine going into someone else's closet just at random and having to choose clothes out of their closet and wear that for the day? It would feel really weird, if you think about it. I mean, if you get lucky, you might find someone with your same style, but that is a chance you're taking, right? So you don't know if their clothes are going to be your size, if it's your style, your colors, etc. Well, it's the same thing when we talk about marketing. And when we think about marketing, we think about social media is one of the most common first points people think about. But social media is really just one of many ways to market a business. And then again, if you have a brick and mortar business, that's going to be very different than a virtual business or a hybrid business. So first, let's start by taking a poll or an evaluation. And really what I want to do here is I want to show you, I'm going to give you some key questions to ask yourself. And then I want to show you a few ways that you can create your marketing plan that aligns not just with your business, but also with your personality. So then you can really just focus in on that. And let me start by saying, I give you permission right now to narrow your focus and really be intentional about one or two strategies, and that's it. Okay, so we don't have to be doing all the things in our business, that's for sure. All right, so first of all, is your business brick and mortar, or is it a hybrid, or is it a virtual? That's going to determine some of the rest of the story, so to speak, right? Because a social media presence doesn't necessarily do you a lot of good if you are just a local and you rely more on local clients coming to find you. That would be like a Google My Business strategy would be a pretty good strategy there for you if you don't already have that going. Not to say that, like in my community, local businesses do really well with Facebook, because the community itself pretty much uses Facebook. So creating events or local things here on Facebook is one avenue. But to look at social media the way people think about social media, content creation, it may not necessarily be the right move for you if you're a brick and mortar, because social media, generally speaking, does a lot more for a global reach or a national reach. So just thinking about that, that's going to be one question to answer. So another question to answer is, are you familiar with the difference between a long form content strategy and a short form content strategy? So one of the things that I typically recommend is to choose one long form strategy and one short form strategy and use them in tandem. So this is if you're coming from a content perspective. So a long form content strategy is like a podcast, a blog, and a YouTube channel. The reason those are called long form content strategies is because they live forever, right? I create one podcast, I publish it, and people can find me over and over again from that podcast episode versus one piece of content on social, unless it goes viral, it has a short shelf life. So that's considered short form content. It doesn't have as much to do with the length of the content as it does with the life of the content. Does that make sense? So you can have a short on YouTube that's only 30 seconds, but still is found because it's based on keywords. TikTok is right there in the middle, by the way. It's very much a search engine. So it's not, I almost classify that more closer to the long form strategy than short form. It's a nice hybrid. So there you go. They kind of have an understanding of that. Now, if you were to pick one long form content strategy and one short form content strategy, the next question you might want to ask yourself is what you enjoy. So, for example, I enjoy podcasting. I really do. I enjoy meeting new people through podcasting. I enjoy talking. Um, I and these are just, it's easier for me to communicate my thoughts verbally than to write it out. Not saying I'm not a good writer or that I couldn't be a blogger. It's just not the form of content that I would naturally be attracted to. So that's really something I want to highlight here is, are you interested? Are you into the type of marketing you're doing? Because if you're not, then it's really a chore. For me, YouTube is on the fence because I do podcasting. It's something that I have found I do. I don't particularly love it. And there's definitely been times in my career where I've just put YouTube on a hiatus because I'd rather just record an episode that I can just sit here in my pajamas and my tea and my hair a mess and record because I woke up early and I have the time and I don't feel like getting all dolled up like I would if I was doing YouTube. So, I want to find a marketing strategy that aligns with my life and with my passion. So, if you prefer to write, then blogging could be the right thing for you. Okay. So that's the second key, is to think about your marketing strategy from a place of what lights you up and what do you enjoy. And the same goes for social media. If you're naturally more in alignment with Instagram versus TikTok or Facebook versus Instagram, follow that. Follow the thing that your heart is guiding you towards. A lot of times people will say, well, it's just so easy to cross post. And it's not that it's not easy. It definitely is. If you want to just have a presence. But if you want to really get the most out of a platform, then I found that it is best to create content for that platform specifically. We've done a lot of testing with my digital agency and even in my own business. And I can tell you that when a short goes well on Instagram, it almost never does well on other platforms. Like Facebook and Instagram go hand in hand, but like TikTok, it'll do well on Instagram, it won't do well on TikTok, vice versa. If it does well on TikTok, it doesn't do well on Instagram. I don't know why. I don't know how that works in the grand scheme of things, but I can tell you time and again, and with different clients, the same thing has been true. So sure, could we use a tool like repurpose.io and just plaster our content all over the place to be there? Sure, absolutely. And there's no shame in that. If you really want to have that presence and you want to leverage a technology like that, go for it. But if you want to grow a channel, then you really need to be hacking the algorithm for that channel, focus on the audience that's there. And in order to do that, you need to be creative for that purpose. And again, like I said, if you want to share it elsewhere, that's fine. No harm, no foul. Okay. So the third topic that I want to touch on here when it comes to creating content that aligns with you, not even just content, but a marketing strategy, is I want to expand your mind into other ways to market that go beyond content creation. Because to some people, content creation just is time consuming. I personally know people who spend upwards of 3 hours a day just doing content. Like, it's insane. Hold on just a moment. So creating content can be just a job that you may not really have the time for. And if you choose to outsource it or you find a social media strategist for you, that's an option. But marketing can be done in so many other ways. For example, network marketing, and I don't mean like a network marketing business like a Mary Kay or something. I'm talking about literally networking within your space, or with your ideal clients. It could be simply sending connection requests on LinkedIn if you have a B2B business, or on Instagram, just making friends. I think a lot of times people like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I love networking with people. If you get me in a room of other business owners, I will be sure to find somebody I connect with and become friends with. That mentality is really all it takes to do outreach in the social realms and being intentional about that. I think we put too much emphasis on like, oh, we're going to fall into this bucket of being a spammy solicitor. And we're really, if we just come at it like, hey, I'm just building a connection and I want to be friends, and then see where it goes. I mean, that's really the extent of it. You can really build your business up and build your name and credibility that way. Google My Business listing, like I said, is a huge one if you're local. Networking events, in-person networking events. You can also look at doing creating your own event. Like if you want to, let's say you are in the holistic space and you're in the weight loss space, putting together events that offer a tangible transformation for people, like a workshop or a retreat of some sort, like teaching them how to count macros. Like that could be a whole class you teach on a regular basis. So you just get people in, like this training, for example, in my community. These are all marketing avenues that I enjoy. I enjoy teaching. So it's something that aligns with me. Now, if you don't enjoy teaching and you just want to, like in some cases, people just are like, I just want to be meeting with my patients. I don't want to have to really be the face of my brand. I want people to find me. Then in a case like that, I would really encourage you to look into more paid marketing channels, such as, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, Google ads are a really good one too. So that would be where you might want to consider something like that. So again, finding a marketing channel that works for you, that's another question to ask yourself. Do you have a budget to play with? And if so, what avenue do you want to go? Because at some point, if you want your business to stand on its own and you don't want to be the face of your brand, then it really puts you in a position to have to pay to go to scale, right? And that's totally fine. Again, there's no right or wrong here. And that's really the beauty of this whole thing is, first of all, take the pressure off. Number one, you don't have to do all of the things that you don't want to. Number two, if you are going to do a content strategy, focus on one long form and one short form content. If you can, put them together. Or choose a hybrid like TikTok. It can do long and short, or YouTube can do long and short. And there's something else I want to point out here that most people don't know this. When you build your business on platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you don't own the content. So if they wipe out tomorrow, you've lost all of your momentum, right? You're starting over. When you look at something like a podcast, if you use, this isn't true if you use Anchor or Spotify, they own the rights to if you use them as your syndicator. But if you use something like Captivate.fm or Podbean as your podcast indicator or a blog, you own that content. Okay. It's always yours forever. And now, if your blog goes away, that's like you own the server, but so like you want to make sure that you're using a server that you own, that you have the rights to, right? So I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, but like if you look at WordPress, There's a couple ways to build it. You definitely want to go with the paid version so that you own the rights to that. That's as much as I'll go into detail on that. But those are the two avenues that you literally own the rights to. And I would encourage you, if you are interested in developing something that you own, like a podcast can actually be sold. So think about that. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that today. If you would like to build a marketing, you would like a marketing blueprint or an audit, or you want to dive into your marketing pillars or your strategy, reach out to me because I do offer like a one-day workshop where we can do that together and build out your whole marketing strategy, as well as content pillars, as well as messaging that's going to convert. So that can mean updating your website, that could mean email marketing, and so on. And then additionally, I'll be updating the community with a resource of all the different marketing channels so that people don't just feel like they're stuck, with one or two options. There are literally like 15. I think the last time I came up with this list, it was like 15 different marketing channels. Social media is just one of those. Okay. So keep that in mind. Just be sure to give yourself permission to do what you love, be consistent in whatever you choose to do, and be strategic. You definitely want to make sure that you track and measure what your output is and the return that you get. So then you can decide how you might want to pivot within that realm. So what I don't recommend is switching your whole strategy. The strategy is not the issue. The strategy will always work, right? Instagram works for anybody who works Instagram, so on and so on. You just need to know the system, know the strategy that you're doing, and then be consistent in it and consistently make effort to improve that genre, that marketing modality, however you want to word it. When people pivot quickly from multiple different strategies, that's when they lose momentum. That's when they feel like nothing's working. That's when I meet with them and they'll say, like, I've tried it all and nothing works. If that's the case, the problem isn't the modality at all, it's a messaging. And that's where I offer that messaging audit. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. If you're here live, you get to stick around for the live Q&A bit. Otherwise, catch the replay in the community, the Thriving Holistic community, by texting holistic to 55444.